Okay. First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here today. We got some really special announcements, some serious things we're going to talk about right now. First of all, I'm very happy to say we put in 16,000 petitions. We have our line. I'm running as an independent. It's Dump the Mayor line. I'm a registered Democrat. So Democrats in New York City and Republicans know that the Democratic primary is not going to be over after September 12th. You'll be able to vote for another Democrat in November, on election day. I will be on that ballot as a Democratic candidate, but running on the independent line of Dump This Mayor. And it's not the last chance primary day. Now, more serious issue that I'm here today about is the Republican candidate. Right now, we've sent the letter out to Cy Vance, Eric Schneiderman, Lisa Sugarman, who's the special counsel for enforcement for the Board of Elections. In our affidavits, we got actual affidavits from the Board of Elections, and I'm calling upon a criminal investigation on Nicole Malapai. That's a little slip there. But I'm calling on an investigation for the Republican candidate. What she did was she filed fraudulently to the Board of Elections. When you file, she filed for her fixed to transit independent line. When you file that petition, you have someone file it, you bring it there, and it says you have to have the number of signatures. You have to have at least 3,750, and you sign off on it. And she signed off on that. 2 days later, Nicole signs again. Malatakis signs it again that she's verified that this has over 3,750 signatures. In other words, this is a fraudulent instrument. Under the New York State penal law, what she did was she committed a felony. She committed a felony fraud as far as with the signature, and it's penal law number 17510, which is a false business record. It's a Class E felony. Also, Section 17530, a false instrument, a Class A misdemeanor. Why I'm here today is we have a corrupt mayor that's in the office. I don't think he's in yet, but he has a seat there sometimes. He comes here eventually. He's a corrupt guy. We've talked about it. He should have been indicted. But I cannot have a candidate now running for mayor of New York City who does criminal conduct like this. I call for her to step down, and I also call for Eric Schneiderman, which I sent him the letter, and also Cy Vance. They don't want corruption in our city. If they allow this to get through, then what they're doing is they're supporting corruption in New York City. And I think New York City is sick and tired of a corrupt mayor, and we don't need another new mayor running for mayor who's corrupt also. This is such a very important thing. If Beau Dietl did it, I would expect to be downtown under an investigation, criminal investigation, for not adhering to the election laws and to the Board of Election. You've got an enforcement. Lisa Sugarman is the enforcement end of the Board of Election. She's the one that made the statement about de Blasio being corrupt, and she was investigated. I call upon her, Attorney General Schneiderman, and also Cy Vance. We cannot have this corruption. Here's the facts. I've sent copies of this letter, copies of the instruments that were submitted to the Board of Election. This is the ground ball. I used to be a detective. Here's all your evidence. I would go to the DA with this, and next thing that happened, the DA would say, Beau, go lock her up. And that's what I expect the Attorney General and or Cy Vance to go and indict her on this instrument, and let's stop the corruption in this city. I think this is probably one of the most important news conferences I have ever had announcing about this corruption. Again, this is such an important factor in our life. Where does it stop? We got a mayor, pay-for-play mayor. You give him money, you get all your projects done. I'm sick and tired of the corruption in this city. I'm running as the independent. The independent means that I want Democrats. You can vote in November on the general election. I am a registered Democrat. I'm running as an independent. I want Democrats and I want Republicans, and I want all the people in New York to come on board and vote for a person that is not corrupt like this mayor, and now the Republican candidate has committed a felony and a misdemeanor. That's right, a felony and a misdemeanor. Here's my evidence. I don't need much more. Any questions from anybody?
Well, what brought this to your attention?
What brought this to my attention? Mysteriously, I submitted 16,000 petitions to get my independent line. They said, Beau, you only need 3,750. But I said, you know what? They're going to try some trickery because you know what happened to me with the Democratic Party. I went to Supreme Court, Appellate Court, Court of Appeals, and Mr. Big Bird de Blasio over here had his lawyer in the courtroom. So I knew he didn't want me on the line. But I'm sorry, Mr. de Blasio, I will be there in November. So what I did was I looked at what she submitted. And she submitted under this transit thing to get an independent line. But as it says, these affidavits said you must submit the amount of signatures, 3,750 or more. She submitted less than 1,100, it was 1,000 and something, and she thought nobody was going to catch it. The only thing is, what did I used to do? What do I do in my life? I'm a detective. You're not going to commit fraud in front of me. And this guy who's in the back seat of me, he ain't here yet. This mayor, that's why we got to get rid of him. I'm sick and tired of corruption and fraud. And that's why we don't have enough money. He's got $24 million worth of advisors and consultants. I can take that money and I can help shelters and feed senior citizens and veterans and help them with $24 million. He's sitting on $4 billion. Use $500 million, fix the damn subways so people don't get stuck. I was stuck on the 8 train for 25 minutes. Imagine a person with a heart condition. They can have a heart attack down there and they'll die. And this mayor says, oh, I don't know it. Your people travel these subways. People in New York City, millions of them every day. You're responsible for their safety. And you sit on that money. Maybe he's going to use that money to go on his next trip to Havana, or maybe, because if he gets reelected, I guarantee you'll never see, you don't see him now, you'll never see him again. People have to stand fast. And this thing that he had last night, he called a debate. Poor Sal Albanese got slapped around like a child there. It's not going to happen with me, and he's got to debate me. Thank you. Any other questions?
Have you heard from Snyderman or Vance? Yes.
Well, we FedExed it to him yesterday, and also Reese Sugarman. I would be expecting, and we also included with the letter all the backup evidence that's necessary. As an investigator, I know one thing. You just go to the Board of Elections, see what they submitted. Here's your evidence. Evidence equals indictment. Indictment means handcuffs, and that's what I call. She should drop out of the race. We don't need another corrupt individual. She's a 3-term assemblywoman. She knows right and wrong. She can't say, I didn't know. No, she's run for assembly and has been elected and has done this before. So now you actually have the forethought and you have the education of what is required.
One off-topic question.
Yeah.
Off-topic. Would you support the Dreamers with Trump dismantling DACA? What's your stance?
I don't want to dismantle DACA. I want these people to become citizens. And we got to find a way how they can become citizens. And you want to know something? My mother's from Catania, Sicily. My father's from Germany. There's got to be a way. These people are fine educated. They'll be a great asset to our country. Let's figure out a way of doing it. My friend Donald Trump there, he has to think about this thing. He wants a certain way. What we should do is go to Congress and get the bill in there to keep the Dreamers here. Let's do it.
So you would support the mayor in protecting that?
I don't support the mayor.
You would agree with
I don't support this mayor in anything. What I do support is the people who went and got educated in our country and now living in our America. Let's use those assets as positive assets for America, and I support them, not this guy in back of me. No.
Mr. Beau, how you plan to connect your relationship with Russian-speaking community?
Well, the Russian-speaking community, of course, my best friend's Mike the Russian, so I was on Bright Beach on the boardwalk on Sunday saying hello to everybody. My ex-wife is a Russian Jew.
Oh.
My children are Jewish Russian. My grandchild is Jewish Russian. So I care about Russian people. Russian people are very important to me in our area in Brighton Beach with housing, safety, and security. These are all issues that are close to my heart, and I do support the Russian community, the same as I support the Black, Hispanic, Chinese, Korean. We support. I want a mayor that cares about everybody. You don't have to give me any money to get things done. I'll get it done because it's going to help the people in New York. And I want to be the candidate of the people of New York, not the Democrats, not the Republicans, the people. I'll get it done. My history is I don't take no nonsense, and that's why I'm running for mayor, because this guy's a disgrace, this de Blasio, and as far as I'm concerned, I think Nicole's going to be going down very soon with this, and then what we have to do is, it's going to be one race. It's going to be a race of Beau and Big Bird de Blasio, and I need the people to come out.
Thank you.
Why are you holding so much time to tell the father
That's a very good question. He said, why am I using my energy to go after Nicole? Because I don't like criminals. When you do something criminal, this is criminal. There's a fraudulent entry. That's like you writing a check that there's no account for it. You then are responsible for doing this. And this is a responsible person who's an assemblywoman. She should have more responsibility because she's an elected official. That's why. Because I got to stop the corruption. Because this mayor is the most corrupt one. And I got to enlighten the people of New York. You cannot vote for someone who's corrupt. Because we have somebody in there already. Oh, no, I believe. First of all, that's another thing. I'm not running for name recognition. I have name recognition. Do I believe? I believe the people of New York are going to see a candidate that they're going to rally around. And you want to know something? Even the Republican Party is not fully endorsing the Republican candidate. The Democrats are sick and tired. And I talked to the Reverend Calvin Butts months ago. He said, Mayor de Blasio has done nothing for the black community. You talk about affordable housing, all he does is talk gross numbers. I'm going to give you some statistics, something important to me. Education. The state regions board, New York City. Do you know that our kids in our schools, 73% of the Hispanic kids and 74% of the black kids failed in math and reading? And he stands up there and says our schools are doing so good. With almost 75% of kids failing in reading and math, these are kids graduating, can't pass a reading. He's doing good. If that's the criteria, I think we got to get rid of him. Because I want education. And I also want education in private schools, charter schools, whoever can teach our kids where they can read and write. And the first thing I'm going to do is ban cell phones from the classroom. I'm not going to have kids sitting there with hoodies on with earphones while a teacher's trying to teach them. And you've got great teachers out there. You have a disruptive student, they can't remove them. It's a lot of issues. But how can you talk to the union of the Board of Education? They gave de Blasio $350,000 to get enormous raises, pay for play. I'm going to tell you something when Beau becomes the mayor. I'll give you 60 days. There's not going to be 2-year rubber rules. I'll give you 60 days. Either the teacher did something wrong, get rid of them, fine them, or put them back to work. This is the problem in the city. We got to get tighten up here and become more efficient and not corrupt. Anybody else?
Are conditions like this struck down?
I'm sorry?
Are conditions like this struck down?
No, if you, yeah, they're struck down. But when you sign an affidavit that you are 2 days later that you are giving the amount that is required on this, and you're signing it, that becomes a forged instrument. And there is a penal law in that, and it's all in the papers, and everyone will get a copy. And when you look at it, it's very, I wish all my cases were this easy. This is cut and dry. Yeah, this is the evidence. With the evidence, I'll bring this into a grand jury tomorrow. We, the people of the grand jury, I'll present this like I've done before, and I get her indicted in a second. Now I call upon Schneiderman and/or Vance, and also Risa Sugarman, the head of the Board of Election Enforcement. Come on, baby, let's do what we got to do. Show people we're not going to accept corruption. Oh, it happens all the time. So if somebody robs the bank all the time, you don't let them do it? No. It's about 12:30. He's not in yet. You want to know something? I didn't do any of my background of any candidates for prosecutor. So I'll tell you what I did do. I really searched the law. I have my lawyers look at it. I have enough evidence right here for prosecution. Now you asked the question. So that means if everybody is sticking up banks and we're not prosecuting, it's okay. No, it's not okay. And she is a 3-time assemblyman. If it was a rookie person that didn't know what they were doing, I'd say, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. 3 times she was elected to the assembly. She should be above any kind of corruption. How dare she sign an affidavit 2 days later and verifies that she has enough of signatures to get that line? You know, you can smile all you want, but seriously, I take these things serious. Because if Beau Dietl did it, and they came after me, you knew they threw me off the Democratic line. Supreme Court, Appellate Court, Court of Appeals. They said, Beau, you're out. Now I'm telling her she's out. Look, if I did that mistake, let them come after me. I submitted 16,000 signatures for that very reason, that you gotta comply. And she didn't comply with it.
don't mind me asking
Yes.
about your attendance at the meeting yesterday.
Yes? Why was I in attendance? Well, I didn't bring Big Bird with me. The last debate I brought Big Bird with me, but I'm very upset the fact that this mayor does this sham debate with this poor Sal Albanese. Hey, I'm a Democrat. Why didn't he invite some real candidates? I raised as much money, more money than anyone except for de Blasio. I raised that $1 million line. Why wasn't I invited? I'm a registered Democrat. He doesn't want me to be in a debate with him, and I guarantee you, he can't do anything about it because I talked to the campaign finance board. They said if you hit the $1 million mark, which we're there, I will be able to debate him. He can't run and hide from me. And I wish that I was there yesterday. I have some information. Did you know about the Regency's exams that 73, 74% of the black and Hispanic kids can't pass the damn Regents? And he's standing up there, we're doing so good with our education. That's good? And you know who the victims are? My black and Hispanic kids in this city. They're my people, my kids. And I want these kids to be able to go on with life and be well educated. This bum, all he wants to do is throw these numbers around, these statistics, affordable housing. What's affordable to them? They just built $15 billion West Side Yard, my friend Steve Roth. There's not one apartment that anybody can afford. This is part of his game. Tale of Two Cities? Yeah, it's all about the rich people. I'm here for the poor people and the regular people of New York City to make their lives better. Seven.
What's your feeling about Bill also about our kids together, boys and girls, men and women? What do you mean?
My personal feelings about all things like that, as far as I was profiled in the Gay Pride Parade, I support people's right to feel whatever they want. My whole thing is, I do not want to get involved with people's feelings or choices. Whatever you want to be, I support as long as you don't hurt somebody, and that's my feelings about that.
Well, what do you think about Blasio's claim that
Oh, de Blasio said yesterday he hasn't smoked pots in college. Well, Mr. de Blasio, I tell you right now, I know for a fact, because I talked to some of your security people, there's a lot of marijuana smoke in that SUV van, and these people have come to me and said, Beau, I'm getting contact high here. So he's full of baloney. He's a liar again. What now he's going to stop because he knows what I'm going to do. I'll challenge him to get a blood test or a hair sample, and I know he's going to fail. And I live on 90th in New York, a block away. He built this high fence around it. Why did he build this high fence? This is the people's house. Look, as far as I'm concerned, I don't care about pot. They legalize it. I don't really care. Medical marijuana, I'm very supportive. My point is, this man shouldn't lie, and he's a consistent liar. And I always say, and here's my little thing to Mayor de Blasio, when you tell the truth, you don't have to remember what you said. And he lies all the time, so he doesn't remember what the hell he says. Yes, sir.
You ever smoked pot?
Have I ever smoked pot? I did it once. I didn't like it. I did it once as a kid. I think I was about 18, 19, but I didn't like it.
would you be a better man if you would smoke pot anyway?
Well, I think smoking pot is not the issue. It's lying about. Again, it's about lying. It's about what Nicole did. Lies. I don't like liars. I tell my kids, you screw up, tell your father the truth. Don't lie on top of lies. I got an investigator coming. I'm doing a surveillance with them. 20 guys. If they lose the subject, I said, you put on that report, you lost the subject. Because once you start lying, you got to keep on lying on top of lying. So remember, when you tell the truth, you don't have to remember what you said. Anybody else? Come on, my daily news. Come on, we got a new owner. Come on.
I gotta go to this other thing.
Come on, we got a good day. All right. Anybody else?
Also, what about hate protesting in New York City?
Well, I'm for all peaceful protests. I don't care what you hate. I'm for peaceful protests. I'm against any kind of violence, or I'm against anybody stopping other people's to and from where people can go home from work. We stop the traffic, shutting down the Brooklyn Bridge. I'm against that. I'm also against any kind of violence. I want peaceful protest. I love protests. I'll be protesting. I'll be standing in front of that statue of Christopher Columbus, and I tell you what, if I got to get locked up, I will be there. There's no Italian American that should vote for Bill de Blasio as far as Christopher Columbus. It's not about what he did. The good, the bad, the ugly of history has to be there. He did good things and he did bad things, and people don't realize during that same time of 1492, I love world history, you had the Incas, you had them taking people's hearts out, they killed 80,000. Then you had the Caribbean conquistadors that were there controlling the Caribbean, killing people. So look, they were all bad, but we have the symbol of the Italian Americans. To take that statue down is their symbol, and that's the way I feel about it. Anybody else? We love Russian vodka too. That's good. And I do drink. I don't smoke pot. I don't do any other drugs. I take Xantax. My stomach.
Hey, Beau, what about the opiates?
Oh, the opiate problem that we have, especially in Staten Island, my friends in Staten Island, this has to be directed with enforcement, education, and we have to have treatment. Point is that they've come out that 40% of the people using medical marijuana don't go back to the opioids. If that in fact, I'd like to look at the studies, if that in fact is prevalent, then I would be supportive of medical marijuana for people who are addicted to heroin or opioids. We've got to help them. And they're not just kids. These are middle-aged people that take Oxycontin for their pain in the shoulder. Next thing they're addicted. Hey, addiction's a terrible, terrible, terrible thing. And it's something we have to deal with, and that's very important in our children.
And one more question, illegal firearms.
I like it. Yeah.
What do you think about firearms?
Firearms?
Yeah.
Oh,
How
I
do you
think.
plan to make them enforce those laws better?
Well, the thing is, New York has the most stringent firearm laws in the country. In reality, as far as people being able to carry a firearm, if you have a business, a bodega, a store, and you don't have a criminal record, you can pass a background, and you could be a person that's competent and go for training. I really believe that you should be able to protect your family and your property. So, I mean, I don't want everybody to have guns, but I want people that are proficient and people who don't have a criminal history to have the right. They have a firearm for their own protection and their family. I carry a gun all the time. I carry a gun, you know why? Because I want to be there to help somebody. And I may even carry a gun as the mayor of New York City. I don't care what my corporation council tells me. If I see somebody getting robbed, somebody getting beaten up, I jump out of my I don't even know if I'll have an SUV. I may be driving my own car by then. And I tell you what, I'll jump out and I'll help. And I've always helped people as a detective. All those years when I got mugged 500 times, hospitalized 30 times. I love New York. That's why I'm running. And I can't stand that this guy's going unchallenged. And believe me, Nicole is an unchallenged and Sal is an unchallenged. I'm the only one that he fears. He knows it. Yesterday he ran past me at the debate. He wouldn't even look at me. Went humming. I said, you ain't touching my Christopher Columbus. And I'll be there. And I told Angelo Vivolo, I'll stand there. I'll get locked up. I don't care. Thank you, everybody. That's right. Thank you.
Paid for by friends of Beau Dietl.